Yeah.
Game 2 now is seeding between Eager and LG.
That's
LG
right.
win this, they go top. Eager win this, they go top.
Exactly.
They stay top.
Both teams are going to the Smite Masters land, guaranteed.
Correct.
Neither have to go through the gauntlet, and that is a big sigh of relief, I'm sure, for Luminosity, who were in danger of going to have to fight into the Smite Masters land. Not that that wasn't a fight, because that was a 50-minute brawl, but either way, they now have a chance to secure that first seed and really try and avoid a team like Obey that's been playing phenomenally over on the side of Europe.
Well, game 2 is now ready. Let's get into it. We'll see if it's going to be 15 minutes longer, or even longer this game. We saw a lot of action in that
longer?
Why not? It's exciting.
I got Smite to play tonight, Hindu. Come on, man.
We can play Smite afterwards. It's okay.
I got a bedtime I got to make. I don't want to spend here another hour, man. I got to get home and play some ranked.
You're not even good. Why do you want to play rank?
Well, what does that matter? I still want to play Smite.
You learn more by watching games like this. Poseidon will be locked in again for LG, who were first pick last game, first pick this game. If it's not
Poseidon,
broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. Baskin played really, really well that game in terms of area control and area denial with that Whirlpool. The Krakens were almost always safe for the frontliners that were on top of him, but it was always combined with that Nemesis ultimate.
Okay. Salty run back maybe from Eager.
I mean, Eager loves the salty run back. It's their favorite thing, the salty run back.
But they'll probably make one change. They normally do. It's normally one ban or it's one pick that's slightly different.
For me, it's probably going to be the Ratatosker for DJ that could be the different pick.
I think Gab.
You think the Geb? I mean, Aror didn't have the aggressive sort of initiator role, but DJ was that was his job to fill that with that Ratatosker. It worked out in some cases, but not in others. I am a little bit surprised to see the Raw locked in there for Eager, considering that LG already had their mid laner locked in for Poseidon, but they just wanted to commit to it. There's the change. Chang'e jungle.
You expected Ratatosker, and you were right. It's going to be the Chang'e this game, more than likely in the jungle. Can go in the solo lane, but it's not something I would expect to see Divios on. Even though
Divios once ran Giannis solo.
Well, yeah, that's true. I was going to say, but Divios does like to play aggressive gods. Chang'e is a very aggressive mage.
Yeah.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, you definitely need to be in the thick of things as Chang'e. You can't be in the back throwing out spells from a distance like a character like Ra can.
Good ban from Team Eager there with the Osiris. The anti-heal will be huge against Aror and Chang'e, but that should make Luminosity have a few warning signs here themselves about they need to anti-heal themselves. They've got Bacchus. Would you look for Sobek for Scary maybe here?
Odin.
Odin?
Odin, 100%. Odin is so good against this composition for Eager right now.
True.
It shuts down Erlang, Shen. Chang'e and Ra have a tough time against it as well.
Nemesis, though.
Nemesis in the jungle is fine. I really think the Odin selection here for Skadi would be really awesome.
And if not Odin, me personally, I was looking towards Sobek maybe, but they're going to go back to Amaterasu. I'm not going to...
Exact same comp.
I'm not upset with that because of the fact that Skadi played amazing on the Amaterasu.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
But they did miss a window. They missed a window with not getting Odin.
Yeah, all four gods cannot get out of that Odin cage, and it shuts down the healing for Erlang, Shen, Chang'e, and Ra.
And Xing.
And Xing. Those Xing can jump out of it.
That's true.
Either way, I mean, this is Luminosity not worried about what Eager's doing. They just want to stick to their game and play their game at their own pace, not really respond to what Eager wants to do.
So who's played Erlang and who's played Xing?
Xing solo.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out.
I'll roll sure as I can be. Yeah,
exactly. As sure you can be when you're playing them against Eager. That's
for
sure. You
seriously.
never know where they're going to run. Luminosity have done the run back though. They're happy with their composition and how it played out effectively throughout their game. I think Mask and Baskin together made a very good combo with that Poseidon Nemesis situation.
Absolutely, and Mask really wasn't lacking in pressure at all in the early stages of the game with the Nemesis like you're usually expecting to see with that mid to late game god. Really, Mask made the majority of his impact as soon as he hit level 12. As soon as he got that Sunder, that's when Luminosity started to really fight well around the jungler.
Well, game 2, Luminosity don't look for a cheeky kill at the start, which was onto Divios last game when he was playing the Nike. But Divios will be on the Xing 10 this time. Very, very good in team fights for controlling them with a lot of CC potential and tankiness as well. Just massive amounts of HP regen is so useful having on a frontline god.
But not as much pressure as he had on the Nike, and the late game passive isn't going to be there for Eager to take advantage of. Going back to this Chang'e pick, not only do I love this because it's djpernicus and he was the first real proprietor of this pick.
Well, there's an Aegis.
There's an Aegis. But either way, even with the Aegis down, he's still going to have his second ability to give him the immunity up against the Kraken of Baskin. Could really work out well for the jungler.
Even though it cost DJ's Aegis there, he won't lose any jungle, it seems, because LG don't want to try and contest it just yet against the two two of them. They'll fall back to their own side. On the duo side of things, though, Eager have now got an advantage here with the Erlang Shen up against the Bacchus. They've got wave clear advantage, and so these punish them with a steal of the purple.
It looks like BaRRaCCuDDa and JeffHindla actually started at their own red buff and surrendered the majority of that wave. They didn't lose all the archers in terms of experience. I think they might have lost them all in terms of gold, but they both hit level 2 pretty early on.
Good flop from Jeff to disengage BaRRaCCuDDa. Jeff not going to be invested into too much there. Zapman more focused on the farm, which is the right thing to do. There's definitely not kill potential there, especially with Bacchus, who has a meditation waiting.
Exactly. The meditations are just so big in the early stages of the game. It's so important to try and bait those out in the laning phase so that whenever the grouping ups start happening a little bit later around these oracles or around the mid harpies, it's very easy to burst someone down without the threat of that burst steal coming back afterwards.
And so far, Eager have basically stripped the left-hand jungle for themselves for the best of their ability. Only the red buff going the way of LG on that left-hand side. Bit of a different story from last game because it was all LG on that duo lane.
Yeah, LG would put a lot of focus onto that duo lane, and it's pretty similar compositions except for it's exactly the same compositions outside of Aror on the Geb. No surprise that the warrior Erlang Shen is going to allow BaRRaCCuDDa, or excuse me, Zapman, to have a little bit more pressure on that left-hand side than the very passive early game Geb.
I like the fact they've put Best back on that rock, because I think Best had a fantastic game that last one. He didn't shine, but at moments there was a lot of glory that could have gone his way if the kills would have started ringing in.
Very true. I mean, he almost one-shot BaRRaCCuDDa. He almost one-shot Baskin. They were both alive with 5% HP. He seals away a Fire Giant as well with the snipes. So Best, I mean, no surprise to me whatsoever that he was on point with the Ra, one of the signature gods of the veteran mid laner.
Interesting to see the builds coming out from Eager and Luminosity's Hunters, BaRRaCCuDDa and Zapman. Death's Toll versus the Bluestone. Normally you see a lot of Medusas go for the Bluestone here, but BaRRaCCuDDa wants to sustain.
This is actually pretty funny because it was the exact opposite in game 1.
Yeah.
Zap went Death's Toll and BaRRa went for Bluestone. This time BaRRa's like, oh, well, if he's got Death's Toll, I'm going to get Death's Toll. And Zap's like, hey, got him, I'm going Bluestone.
I actually think it's more down to Aror being in this duo lane has forced BaRRaCCuDDa to go for Death's Toll. He's expecting to take a lot more pokes than he would like.
Uh-oh, Scary.
Scary got flipped.
He's dead. He's dead.
Scary went on a wild ride. Divios pulled him under the tower, and Scary hit level 5 after going under the tower, and that's why he's dead.
And then Scary says, okay, I'm just going to dash out, but Divios is there body blocking, ready to get in front of it, and he's like, okay, I guess I'll ult, but it just took him too long to decide if he needed to ult. I don't know if it would have saved his life anyways, to be honest with you, because it's not nearly as quick as that dash to get out of that tower.
I'm not going to lie, I wish I could just sit and watch Scary D versus Divios in lane for like 24 hours straight of those two just fighting, because they look like a fun matchup to watch, honestly, overall. These are two of the best solo laners right now in North America going at it.
I've got good news for you, Hindu. They're going to be at LAN. They could face off at LAN and we could watch them in person.
Maybe, but then Scary D was bad last time he came to our LAN. Now he's good all of a sudden.
Well, he came here to the studio, but at Worlds he killed it.
He did. Maybe it's the studio.
Maybe it's the studio.
djpernicus looks to steal away the red buff, and instead he's having to be the last man to leave the team. The rest of his team are trying to fall back to safety, but they may have to give him up.
Oh!
Maximum turn around! Deletion! BaRRa forced to clean it up in response, but DJ with the hottest of dancing moves I've seen.
That was amazing, and now Aror finds 3 with the taunt. Best cleans up JeffHindla with the Celestial Beam. Mask forced to run away. Cardier, along with Auror's dog of the name I do not know, are able to combine and knock down Mask. 3 kills quickly go the way of Eager.
The dog's name's Bobo, by the way. But on top of that,
there's no way that dog's name is Bobo.
It's Bobo. I named it. It's Bobo. But the one thing, I've seen a lot of games, right? And the amount of times I've seen kills like that, I'm like, yeah, DJ's gonna fall down here. There's like, he's dead. Like, we watch so many games, I'm like, that's death, that's it.
Right.
Where did that come from? He legit 1-8'd, spun, danced, and then waxing moon to the face, and goodbye, Baskin.
It was awesome. And Baskin was just holding that Kraken for so long because he knew DJ had the Aegis ready to go, and so he's waiting and waiting and waiting. He's like, okay, now's the time. Ouch.
Goodbye.
I'm dead.
Goodbye, friends. It's over now. 4-1 Eager lead. They're going to get the Oracles on the left-hand side as well here. Aror and Zapman both level 7. Look at the level difference between the duo lanes right now, Aggro.
Significant, and specifically in terms of Auror's level difference over JeffHindla. 2 levels, and that's exactly what you want as a warrior. You want this early lead.
Well, DJ this time around won't have the Waxing Moon available to contest this, and with 3 members here, he's kind of just going to watch that Elemental fall down, sadly. Just give Baskin that level 7. He so desperately needs to continue to catch up to Best level 8.
I love DJ's comfort level on this Chang'e in the jungle, just holding that to, he knows this matchup is just all about, can I immune the Kraken, whether it be by the Aegis or the Moonlit Waltz. It's all about, can I make sure I don't take that
Holding your
damage
nerve. That's all it is, isn't it?
forever.
Whoever holds the nerve the most wins.
It just, who's going to blink first? Is it going to be Baskin pulling the trigger a little bit too early? Is it going to be DJ using the 2 to avoid the damage from masks, slice and dice, or the autos afterwards? Love the play out of the jungler so far.
I mean, they talk about the BaRRa backstep or the Jeff hop or whatever it is, or the last loop and everything like that. That was a DJ's move then was amazing.
What was that?
It was the backstep into the heel into the waxing moon. I don't know. I'm not going to name it just yet.
Something tells me there's a quicker name for that.
I'll think of it.
The DJ dance.
No.
No?
Pern spit. Maybe that's what it was.
Pern spit.
It legit was a spit because he just spat in Baskin's face and Baskin disappeared.
No troll. That's one of the best emotes I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure. It's great.
It's phenomenal.
It's so good. 6.5 minutes in the game, though. It's started to settle down for a moment or two. LG definitely on the back foot in this one with how the start has begun. A lot of that comes down to DJ's personal individual play and a roll. But the snipe combo onto Baskin was huge in the cleanup. Baskin walked forward to support, and instead he's met his maker again. DJ was like, what are you doing?
DJ's just sitting there waiting like, where are you going, dude? And Baskin is so locked in to following up on where JeffHindla's flopping and where the ultimate for Mask is going that DJ, he never saw DJ out of the side of his eye.
Red buff looking to be invaded by Eager here. They're looking to trap BaRRaCCuDDa away from his team right now, and Zap's going to be the first one to initiate the fight there. The red buff looked to be stolen away, but Mask will pick it up away from DJ. Aror's a little bit far forward here, forced to turtle back to safety, but runs straight into BaRRaCCuDDa on the Medusa. Zapman's ult will buy him some time, but Aror's still going to fall down. Mask, though, gets pulled into an awkward spot. Big petrify from BaRRaCCuDDa.
And he's not quite done. Divios just able to dash away, so I guess he is done. Gold Fury maybe started up here by Luminosity, but they don't have that sustain, and with how low Mask is, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, he's just going to have to back right away.
Crazy engagements early on. 8 kills in less than 8 minutes. This is a bit faster than last game in terms of kills anyway. There was all action in the last game. Even though it was 50 minutes long, aggro, it didn't feel slow.
Not at all. And I mean, it ended up being pretty long
That's
engagement.
Not slow. Straight back to action goes JeffHindla with the flop and confirms the kill. BaRRaCCuDDa couldn't pick it up, but the belch will.
And again, it goes back to this build difference between the two hunters. Zap, no boots, finishes off the Transcendence, doesn't have the mobility to get away from JeffHindla.
Was that the first time we saw Zap die in this set so far?
I believe so, yes.
I don't think he died last game, did he?
I don't think so either.
No, I think the Titan fell before him. Crazy to think about it like that. But both ScariD and Zapman have both took a tumble this game, so nobody's going to be going clean so far.
At least through the entire set.
Exactly.
Maybe in this game, BaRRaCCuDDa and Best both have a chance, as does Divios in that solo lane. Oracles
stolen by Eager there. They get both of those Oracles on that left-hand side. Luminosity did not manage to secure one.
I thought they might have split them when there was the Solar Blessing putting down that red light, but no, it was the Oracles going the way of Eager. And right now, at the 8.5 minute mark, this is a perfect time for a team to try and sneak away at Gold Fury. We saw how quickly Luminosity was able to commit to Gold Furies early on in the game in Game 1, so that Oracle vision definitely pretty big right now.
DJ going to get ulted early by Mask and forced to immune back to safety. The dance will buy him that mobility to get away, as well as the speed buff too. Now that Mask ultimate is on cooldown, Eager may look to collapse here if they so choose onto the blue.
Yeah, surprisingly quick on that trigger was Mask, and DJ no problem whatsoever. Two-man Waxing Moon in the blue buff, immediately into the toss. ScariD trying to get out of danger, but no way to get out of that dungeon. Divios picks up number 2.
There was legitimately nothing scary that he could do there. He got hit by a Waxing Moon. Hang on, mid lane. Krakens! Could we see a Kraken? Here we will! Baskin explodes the best. I saw that one coming before it even happened with the positioning. They're not going to be able to find anything else, I don't think, here, because DJ and Aror will both split the difference and run separate ways. But that could have been so much worse for Eager.
If you're new-ish to Smite and you're wondering why wards are important, that is why wards are important. You see 3 members just waltzing into mid lane like they own the place, and JeffHindla flops right into the Kraken out of Baskin. You saw before Eager did, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see Best did not get a chance to react to that because he had an Aegis available. He just couldn't pop it before the flop hits. He was in the air.
Yeah.
You're in midair. You can't pop the Aegis to defend yourself. And
it's actually, you know what? Kraken should do more damage if you're knocked up, because then you're right in the mouth of the Kraken as he goes up into the sky.
I mean, I guess that could be the case.
Yeah, we could do that.
If you're in the air, you deal more damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be pretty neat.
I guess. Does Poseidon really need a buff, though?
Of course, dude. He's a mid lane mage. All mages need buffs. Specifically, Zeus, Scylla, Giannis, and of course, Thoth.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about healers, because healers are bad enough right now. Afro, Hell, Chang'e. Right?
Yeah. I'm waiting for someone to bring out Hell, by the way.
Oh, it'll happen.
It'll happen.
It'll probably happen at Super Regionals.
Wow, we're going to have to wait all the way until fall?
Yes.
It's
And then everyone's going to be like,
time.
nerf the healers. It's like, don't worry, Season 5's coming.
It's true. We cannot.
Generally the story of how we're going to go for a tank meta first, boys and girls. Not because necessarily the tank meta is the best thing in the world. It's just because this is what happens in the Pro League for the most part.
Well,
then after the tank meta, we'll go into the burst compositions with frenzies, which is starting to come about anyway. Then we'll move towards healers. It'll happen. Full-on healing.
What if someone goes healing before the burst meta, though?
Then someone will bring out Odin and we go, oh, healing doesn't really work.
This could have been the game. This could have been the game.
This could have been that game, but it's not going to be the case right now. Left on Harpy's going to go the way of Eager right now. Gold lead is still in their favor for now. About 1,700 gold as it stands. The experience, a bit of a different situation. 2,200 in favor of Eager.
Now, last time where Luminosity had the definite edge in the later stages of the game because of the Nemesis jungle, can't really say the same this time around. The Chang'e is a late game monster. She becomes too tanky to really deal with if DJ wants to go for that route, or just too slippery in terms of movement speed already with the Shield of Regrowth. And that's 30% CDR right now for djpernicus, just between the Sands of Time and that Shield of Regrowth.
I will say that one adjustment Eager have really made this game compared to last is their control around the Gold Fury pit. They gave up a lot of free Gold Furies to Luminosity last time by not having good control. This time, though, they're keeping the Oracles on cooldown, keeping people around this area the whole time. It's denying LG to get any sort of conversation around it.
But it only takes a moment for Eager to be a little bit lax in terms of that Gold Fury control. The same can be said for Eager with the best snipe combination, but between the 3 quick autos of the Viper shot with BaRRaCCuDDa, the auto attack chain really helping out mask burn objectives as well, it's a little bit more difficult for Eager to sneak on.
Divios too far forward, ulted early, and actually an Aegis used there by Divios to absorb some of the damage, get some of his stats back. He's going to get beads out of Baskin. He can't juke out the ultimate Skadi either, but DJ's here, waxing Moon on 2 maybe? No, not just yet. Just a little bit of a dance.
Just thought about it, but Mask so healthy is Mask that I don't think DJ has the burst damage all by himself. I really don't mind his Aegis pickup for Divios, by the way. Not only is it great up against Poseidon, but don't forget, you can Aegis Nemesis ult and make sure that you don't lose that big chunk of health from your health pool. Excellent up against Divios, as you can see right there. So if Divios was a little bit earlier, he just never saw Nemesis and Mask at the ult before Divios had a chance to use the Aegis.
So it does give Divios a bit more survivability. More so, not necessarily because of Mask. I feel more Baskin and Poseidon, because the whirlpools keep you locked in place so you can't move around.
And the fact that whenever he goes in that whirlwind of Rage and Steel, yeah, he won't necessarily eat the knock-up or the stun, but you can easily get Kraken. Now, in that sense, he won't have the chance to use the Aegis, so he's got to be careful about when he uses that ultimate, because if Baskin could really just wait, because you don't have a bunch of mobility in that ultimate.
2-level lead for Zapman here, up against BaRRaCCuDDa. BaRRa will hit level 13, though, off that red, and now get that full wave, so he will start to catch up just a little bit as Zapman returns to base.
But this is exactly where Zap can start to take the fights up against BaRRaCCuDDa, because he's finished his boots, and he's already at full stacks. BaRRa's just now finishing the Transcendence, so he's not quite at full stacks yet. Especially with the heavy mace picked up by Zap already, he's got a lot of damage at the 13-minute mark.
A lot of pressure on JeffHindla this game against the Chang'e as well. The flops last game weren't the greatest in the world, let's be honest. It was good enough for the victory for the team, but they weren't the greatest in the world. Against the Chang'e, if he can find the flop before she can immune dance away, then it does have a lot of burst potential onto it and then allow the Krakens to hit home.
I mean, he already hit the highlight reel flop on the bottom right-hand Harpies, so he's already off to a pretty good start in this game. But you're right, I mean, it's so important to make sure that not only the flops are on point, but he's able to put that belch onto both Best and DJ, potentially Aror as well. That healing mitigation, very, very important. But remember, for Bacchus, it isn't like Sobek, wherever the initial hit of Sickening Strike puts that healing reduction on. You have to get stunned by the belch to receive that healing reduction.
And on top of that, you can see already that LG have picked up a little bit of anti-heal. Divine Ruin early from Baskin here. Over-investing anywhere else. He wants that Divine Ruin just to provide anti-heal consistently in this game.
It's also an excellent early damage option. Early damage onto the Gold Fury falls below half HP. Aror is the target. The ultimate into the Kraken. Baskin picks him up, and DJ falls before he can even use one of his 2 relics.
DJ couldn't do anything, and now the Best is running for his life. The Aegis will buy him a minute, but Skadi is going to give chase and find the stun as well. The follow-up damage will be there from BaRRaCCuDDa to pick up the kill, as JeffHindla and Baskin had to deal with Divios and Zapman. Could be a bit of a problem for Mask this.
Tossed right into the clutches of Zapman and Caldier, but Mask has that double dash ready to go. Meditation was waiting for him as well from JeffHindla. The stun into the whirlpool, into the body blocks. Divios, where you going, buddy?
But Zapman got a lot of damage off of the permafrost, and Divios is still alive because he's so tanky. Skadi could fall down, and he will. Zapman cleans up the pieces. This actually stops LG potentially at the Gold Fury because Zap's coming, and Zap's fighting Baskin.
The flop isn't going to knock him up because of the purification beat. Zap trying to turn it around. 2v1. Baskin forced to use the Aegis. The permafrost cleans it up. Number 2 for Zapman, but the Gold Fury goes LG's way.
The Gold Fury does go their way. Zap could have potentially got a pentakill then.
That's about as
with how low they were. That was the best shot you have at a pentakill in the pro league for
but you're
most
still
situations.
But you're still a hunter with 2.5 items. That's not the time that you're trying to get pentas.
I'm just saying, no, it's not. And normally in teamfights, when your pentas happen in Smite, in the highest level of play, it's just because the teamfights go so well and everyone executes perfectly, and you just find out you got a penta. Zap held back there in a weird way, because normally Zap would have just gone, I'm going to fire everybody. But his position was so good that he did clean up some kills. He escalated his build. They were going to lose the Gold Fury anyway. Could he have contested it? Yeah, but he may have died for it as well.
The pre-beads was beautiful on the Bacchus flop as well. That allows him to get that extra damage off onto Baskin, who seems to be having a little bit of trouble getting rid of that solo laner mentality. DJ's going to have a little bit of trouble on this right-hand side. There's an ML and the Sunder.
The flop is great. The Aegis is buying DJ time. The Waxing Moon absorbed. Didn't actually hit onto Skadi by the looks of it there. And so he will pick up the kill. Skadi's a little bit too far forward here, though, up against Aror and Divios. It is 2 tanks versus 1 under the tower. And even with the tower, Skadi can limp away.
DJ not expecting that Sunder to be fired off by Mask right away, who again finishes the Sunder upgrade immediately as soon as he's able to get it, basically. DJ there, like you mentioned, has to use both relics. And the Waxing Moon, he didn't have any time to try and hold it any longer, but it only hits the CC immune Skadi.
Well, the whole of LG start to group up on the right-hand side here. They're going to catch Aurora in the jungle. The Kraken will hit as well. The Whirlpool did most of the work. Most of that, honestly, was down to BaRRaCCuDDa and that lacerate.
Stopping him in his tracks, allowing Baskin to guarantee that hit onto the not very tanky support.
Skadi's going to get the ultimate off there. Zapman forced to Aegis against ScaryD. Just pinned in place there. No snipe from the Best just yet. Best holding on to that one until he does catch Jeff as he turned around to meet his maker. Tier 1 tower goes down and Eager feel they can take this fight.
Divios still trying to make the chase, but he doesn't have that meditation. Remember, he went for the Aegis. The turnaround petrifies, turn around. Zapman only gets slowed.
But there goes ScaryD. BaRRa answers back with Divios in trade. Solo laners are dead. Supports are dead. And still Eager marching forward.
Still wanting to take this fight. DJ doesn't have his ultimate. He just used it in that last little engagement. Aurora has respawned, making his way down the mid lane, but Eager not going to be able to invade any of these buffs. The reason they're pushing forward there is because of how low Luminosity is as a whole, but just not enough to take.
We'll get a tier 1 tower here unless BaRRa can say something about that. BaRRa, no ultimate available, has both relics, and he's actually just trying to buy time for his team. If anything, he won't be able to do it in the tier 1. Eager will find a small win.
500 gold for Eager, but remember, Luminosity got 500 gold of their own on that right-hand side.
This is an even game.
No surprise for me. I mean, this is a set that we've been looking forward to since the schedule was released. Man, we really made people wait for some good games.
We really did.
We had Enix versus Dignitas last week.
And the scary thing about this game, if the season would have gone perfectly for both Luminosity and Eager, this game might not have meant anything. They could have been locked in for 1 and 2 anyway. And it's like, hey, they're playing for fun, which means we wouldn't have got this high level of play. Both teams still want the #1 spot, though. It's clear as day. They both know they've qualified, but they both really want to show they are good enough, and especially because Eager lost game 1. Eager don't want to slip 2-0 to LG.
No, and that's a lot of bragging rights to say, well, we beat you guys 2-0 the last week of the spring split, so you can't really talk a bunch of stuff. Both these teams are filled with high-level competitors. I mean, you want to talk about people who hate losing? You can look at these two rosters and see 10 people who really hate losing.
Okay, so for 19 minutes in now, Aggro, I'm going to make you make a call. Who's going to win this game? From what you've seen so far. Come on, come on.
I got to go with... Oh, I'm going to totally this and say I just don't know, man.
You can't do that.
51-49, coin flip. I'm going to give it to Luminosity 51-49.
You're so boring. DJ is being ulted by ScaryD, but the Aegis will avoid a lot of that damage and make sure he doesn't get stunned in place. It did cost him his beads as well, though, there. So DJ did use both relics.
Aegis. Yeah, and his Aegis. DJ very concerned about the all-in potential there, so DJ definitely going to be pretty vulnerable for the next 2.5 minutes or so. But remember, he is Chang'e, so he has that extra CC/damage immunity in his kit.
He said that, but on a speed buff being looked at by Luminosity, looking to forward the advance after DJ using his relics. Aror looking to defend, as is Divios. Divios goes straight to Baskin. Baskin's taking a lot more damage than he wants to. He picks up 3. Is a snipe available from Best? No, it doesn't hit. The Kraken does, but it's not enough to bring down Divios just yet. The Aegis has bought him time. Zapman is here, though, and he'll take Baskin's life first. ScaryD's trying to find an exit, and he won't find it going towards Zapman. Has to ult defensively as well. 1 for 1 solo for mid.
BaRRaCCuDDa pinned down, is able to dash away after the purification beads are used. but man, that could have gone so much worse. Zapman can't quite find the ultimate before Kaldir dies. The turnaround Petrify is good damage, but Kaldir almost soloed BaRRa.
He nearly did. BaRRa's going to get out of this, but now Eager have 4 members with sustain, remember, on the forefront. They could look for the gold or the tier 2. Gold seems to be the better option.
And again, the sustain from Best is going to be key in this scenario. He's also got a good amount of CDR available to him. DJ is here as well, so you can see between the two of them, over 8,000 healing.
JeffHindla looking to steal Skadi, teleports into the backside of this fight now, and Eager now see him come on around the Gold Fury, which means everyone's going to back away for the time being.
Very, very good engagement there for Eager, but it could have gone even better because Best was a little bit too hesitant with the snipe. Divios picked up 3. Aror then taunts all of those 3 members, and that's just one of those situations where as a mid laner, you are assuming that they're going to be use their relics, but they just never do.
I tell you what, if LG would have realized how out of position Best was from his team there, they could have actually just forced some relics out of him for sure.
For sure.
They will fall back though and take the oracles at the Gold Fury pit to get control. The Gold Fury is getting chipped away very, very, very quickly, but Eager are here.
The stun onto Divios immediately into the whirlpool and the Nemo. Divios was on the map for about 4 seconds before he died after that engagement.
That was Nemo alone. There was no Sunder involved in that. Just so you know, top from Aror, knocks up 2. Flop from Jeff. Cracker from Baskin. Aror will fall down as well. 2 members of Eager are dead, and Luminosity are marching on for the Chang'e.
Divios not able to save anyone because he died so quickly. DJ can't do anything to save anyone except maybe himself. He's got Aegis up in 7 seconds. Needs to try and juke out this reflective mirror from Scary D, and he will do so successfully. DJ going to be able to escape, but the Gold Fury once more goes in Luminosity's favor.
But there's a Petrify from BaRRaCCuDDa in response. It'll stop Kaldir from aggressing, but Kaldir's still on him, and BaRRa doesn't recognize it. BaRRa was going for the cheeky purple as well, but Scary D's here. Maybe Zapman's out of position.
Scary's here, but he does have the ultimate, actually. Zap has the Aegis, and Best has both of his relics there. That time around, again, Best tries to steal the objective with the Searing Pain when the real fight was happening a little bit away from the Gold Fury. If he's able to find that snipe onto Baskin, who was the initial target for Eager, maybe that goes in Eager's way, but it's just so difficult whenever you have to position around the wall as Raw in that scenario, because as soon as the snipe starts to get charged, everyone from Luminosity is going to scatter, and you're not going to hit anybody most likely. So you have to put yourself around the wall, but around the wall, it's difficult to tell what's happening just based on what you're seeing from your teammates' level of vision. So that's where you see some sort of disconnect there between the Best and what was actually happening on in the team fight.
What do you think about how Mask is playing this game as well? He's playing Nemesis. He's basically got 2 ultimates. He's got his actual ultimate, and he's got the Sunder. It's doing the same thing.
I love it. I love this idea, just doubling down on what Nemesis does well. And if you can see, it's working out so far. Portal Demon goes
to Eager, and the Kraken didn't do anything. Auror's going to get a very good ult off, but he's still alive for a moment until Skadi cleans him up. The Whirlpool's going to keep Divios pinned inside it. The Aegis is buying him time to leap away. Best Snipe went through 2, hitting BaRRa and Scary, but it wasn't enough.
Scary gets thrown a little bit closer towards Eager by that permafrost from Zapman, but again, the objective goes Eager's way. They only lose Aror for it, which is okay on the surface, but Aror is continuously dying early on in these team fights. It's going to be difficult for him to continue to get tankier as this game goes on. That being said, though, I mean, take a look at his items. He's pretty far along in this item build despite these 5 deaths because he's prioritizing cheap items. It's the Heartward Amulet, the Winged Blade, and the Sovereignty. None of those 3 are particularly expensive, and he's still able to get those despite these early deaths.
Once again, Zapman, top of the player damage again, 19,000. He's about 6k ahead of BaRRaCCuDDa in this game right now. Mask just got removed from the map again. What were you doing? Rotating through there.
Well, we saw where Eager gets a little bit greedy with their pathing in the mid lane. They get punished by the flop Kraken. Mask gets punished by literally everyone on Eager but Aror for his greedy pathing into the mid lane. Not only that kill, but the tier 2 tower as well.
LG were out of position for the defense of the tier 2 tower anyway. Yeah. But now losing Mask is allowing Eager to now swing to the left-hand side here. Not even with the Fire Giant, they don't have to worry about that. They can just go straight for tier 1 and tier 2 in a 4v5.
Another 500 gold is absolutely a big deal. And again, it's just about this map position that Eager can gain by knocking down these towers. The next Gold Fury that's due to respawn in about 2 minutes. Luminosity won't have a tier 1 tower to run to, whereas Eager likely will.
Well, Divios going to tank it up. Zapman now going to join the fray with Aror on the front line. JeffHindla going to zone them away with the belch, though. Eats the permafrost and damage from Chang'e one more time. Allows Divios to go to the back. Looks for JeffHindla. Can't find the spin, though. Now Skadi comes round and immediately looks for an ultimate to keep people busy.
Divios locked under the tower and erased. Mask gets some revenge and then turns his attention to DJ, who finds a great waxing moon, locking down Jeff and Baskin.
And Mask can't continue the chase because DJ falls back in line with his team. But Mask continues round the corner now, allowing Skadi to catch them up with a speed boost from the auras.
That's exactly what Amaterasu can provide. A big slow coming out of Mask. Skadi continuing to dive this tower, but Mask is getting eaten alive by Cold-Ear. Zap picks up number 5.
And Zap is still alive in the backside. Skadi getting very low off the tank in the tower. Jeff forced down 2. BaRRaCCuDDa, the furthest forward on the side of LG, has the Petrify available. May need to use it to disengage his team because Eager don't look like they've given up the chase just yet.
Baskin doesn't have that Kraken, is below half HP. JeffHindla right around half HP. Scary about the same. BaRRaCCuDDa the only one healthy, and this double sustain from Team Eager. Luminosity just don't have an answer here right now.
Now they don't have any minions with them for now, but they could take it in turns to tank this up. They've got to be very respectful of LG's damage though, and BaRRaCCuDDa having that Petrify available. Baskin's Kraken will be up soon as well.
And Divios has teleported back in, so this tier 2 tower going to fall in hands of Team Eager. BaRRaCCuDDa, you can tell, really doesn't want to lose that 1,500 gold, but doesn't have much of a choice. Eager jumping ahead right now, only still about 2,000 gold, but it's the biggest lead we've had in quite some time.
Well, I just want to point out that tier 2 tower in the middle lane was the first 1,500, the tier 2 on the left was the second 1,500. That 3,000 gold swing that you see, LG were in the lead until those last 2 tier towers went down.
And that's just what Eager wants to do, these late game team fights where this double sustain can really make the bigger impact.
DJ trying to time the immunity to his advantage to try and get Mask to use an ability, but Mask is aware of it as well.
And you can see that the Scary D is actually really devoted to knocking down this healing composition for Team Eager, going for the Cursed Ankh, the upgraded version of the Cursed Ankh. We haven't seen like any of this relic
It's because
whatsoever.
It doesn't feel like it does anything. Even though it does a lot in the team fights with the Cursed Ankh, it reduces healing a lot. But
and for a significant amount of time, over 10 seconds with
But it's
that healing.
because you don't slow. Because you don't feel the slow, you're like, is this really doing anything? I tell you what, it will do in the next engagement if it's used at the right time.
But sometimes that can work in your favor. Before you're like, okay, I'm anti-healed. I know I am because I'm slowed. Maybe you might not realize it and try and prop that heal, but you really can't.
DJ here with a waxing moon looks to steal the Gold
Shell.
Fury. You'll find a big setup. The shell was used, as you said, by JeffHindla there. Gold Fury reset again. Flop from Jeff to the backline, looking at 3. Cold-Ear straight on Jeff, and Jeff's left alone. Jeff's dead. Best picks up that kill. Spin to win from Divios, picks up Scary D. Masto finally does pick up Zapman at the back. That was a huge kill for Luminosity.
Almost as big as that Petrify, but it doesn't do any damage because of the shell. The Kraken knocks up 2, but both use their Aegis. BaRRa, he's going to get turned on. Divios able to pick up that kill. Baskin, he's done, man. No way to get away from this one, I don't think. That passive movement speed might be enough.
No,
but
not against
DJ,
his team.
no.
Against his team, not a chance. With a shield of regrowth on the side of Chang'e as well. DJ will chase you for days for this kill if he can get there. Keep using the dance moves, but no. He'll give it up. He could have got that.
Just enough mana for the Trident for Baskin to boost that movement speed up. Either way, Eager once more knocking down that Gold Fury on the right.
But
Luminosity
LG,
do get the Portal Demon, but at this stage where that Gold Fury is at its maximum worth, this Gold Fury going to put over 300 gold in the pockets of each of everybody on Team Eager, and they've just won basically every team fight for the last 10 minutes.
Do you know what? With how long that Gold Fury took there and the respawns coming through from LG, if LG would have realized it, they could have actually started that Fire Giant immediately after the Portal Demon and potentially suck it.
Not without BaRRaCCuDDa, though. BaRRaCCuDDa being down is the real deterring factor from that play for Luminosity really bearing any fruit. And even if BaRRaCCuDDa does come through there, he doesn't have those purification beads or his ultimate. So if Eager recognized it, and they would have because of the ward they have on the Fire Giant, it could have spelled certain doom for Luminosity.
It's looking about the same game. Aggro, we could be going 50, 60 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to go home and play Smite, dude. Come on.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm going to lie. I wanted to play Smite earlier, but dude, this has just been so much fun to watch between these two teams.
Jeff looks for the belch, going to get the immunity out of DJ and immediately flops to the backside for the Best. Best gets ulted by Mask on top of that. Scary D now going into the backside as well. Divios trying to keep the damage dealers busy. The Kraken invested into Divios didn't really do much. Mask ate more damage than he wanted to. And Scary D, who went to the backline, got exploded.
Just too deep there for Scary. The title surge not going to find a home there. BaRRaCCuDDa BaRRaCCuDDa completely isolated, has the Aegis, but I don't think it's going to do enough. In fact, he decides to just hold on to it because he knows he was going to fall to dead for Luminosity. The two side laners that had such great games in game one, punished there for being a little bit too aggressive.
And now all the ultimates are down. LG can't really defend this Fire Giant here. It's going to go the way of Eager. They're going to pick this one up for free. Jeff went back to base. Baskin in mid lane has no Kraken to really contest this. Eager win a huge team fight there. What was that really based off? Was that the investment of the abilities more than anything else?
It was Scary D just separating himself from everyone on Luminosity, but you have to give a lot of shout outs to Divios.
Yes.
I like the idea from BaRRaCCuDDa because Divios has been such a frontline presence. Yes, he's got 5 death, but it's about stalling the enemy team from pushing forward. So BaRRa goes around the left side of that speed buff wall saying, I'm not getting zoned by Divios, but Divios zones Baskin and Mask, and it absorbs that Kraken from Baskin, doesn't fall to it either. So it's just too difficult for Luminosity to get through that tanky Guardian if that team fight is so spread out like that. The Nemesis ult has to be going on Divios if he's going to be the focus.
Now the gold lead is really starting to stretch now between the two teams at 30 minutes in, 7,000 in favor of Eager. This does allow them to finish off their builds a little bit quicker because LG haven't got all 6 items slotted in for themselves, at least full items. They've got a couple of starters still in their kits, but then it's rituals that will come online a little bit more often for Eager for the time being. And the map presence as well is in Eager's favor. Eager in a very comfortable position. For me, it kind of goes back to that tier 2 in mid more than anything else. The moment Mask gets caught rotating through and the tier 2 falls down, things start to get out of control.
For me, it was the chase down from Luminosity to try and chase Eager to their tier 1 tower on left, and then the turnaround by Zapman. You asked me to make a call in terms of this game earlier on, but I'm ready to make a different call. Skadi is the queen of ADCs right now. She just does so much for your team. Zapman has been on top of the player damage charts both games by a considerable margin, and in this game in particular, that kill on the Mask that started to turn it around on the left-hand side. What do you do up against the Skadi ultimate?
But the question is, what was it that brought Skadi in? Because she was very quiet. Were the team sleeping on her on purpose? Were they trying to keep it hidden?
I don't know if it was that intentional, but I think teams were just sleeping on her in general about what she could bring to the table. But that 3-second speed buff whenever she walks herself over permafrost gave her enough mobility to push her up over the top of the other ADCs.
Well, we'll see if Skadi starts to be focused during the gauntlet, because this will be the final game of Spring Split. We are in the very final game, and what a great set it's been.
Yeah, and the whole Spring Split's been so much fun to watch, and it's been really interesting how much the meta has evolved in this short time in the Spring Split.
And then that's generally what happens in Season 4 is the meta is established. It might not be correct by the end of the year, but a meta is established by the teams in the Pro League, both Europe and NA. They'll have their differences of opinion, but that's what LANs are for. They sort out those differences and show you who had it right.
But again, for me, it's been Skadi's been the real big name coming out and coming into the LANs. It's a matter of who goes with her in that duo lane, really.
Divios starts to put his pressure on for a second. So does Aror, who went straight to the back. Jeff juggled in the air for a moment. There's a flop onto Aror. Aror's getting bursted down, and Mask gets credit for the kill. Divios flips Jeff into an awkward spot. Both supports are dead.
But there's the turnaround, and Zapman just blows up Baskin. DJ's going to find the kill on the Mask. Scary, he might be next, trying to run away from all of Eager. Zap's dog included will be able to escape towards his fountain. BaRRaCCuDDa doesn't have his ultimate, but does have both relics.
Well, they get the left-hand Phoenix. Fire Giant still on 4 members of Eager with so much sustain in their kit from a Xing 10 who's got natural sustain, Chang'e and Raw. This Phoenix will fall as well, and Eager could look for the final one.
And Baskin never even got that Kraken off, and that could really be the deciding factor in this team fight. Look at how healthy all of Eager is. And you're right, Divios is just totally fine with tanking this up.
And DJ doesn't really care about going to the back line just to keep Luminosity zoned away. 3 Phoenixes down. We saw Eager up against this earlier on, a little bit deeper in the game, and they couldn't handle it. And Eager gonna fall back now, strip the jungle, probably take the portal demon, buy, spend up, get these rituals in, and look to close out exactly the same way LG did.
Man, these 2 games, both in North America and in Europe, like I was talking about, these Week 6 matchups, Enix versus Team Dignitas and Luminosity Eager, no matter who you're rooting for, you can absolutely say that these 2 sets delivered in terms of the hype potential moving up into them. Both of these sets have been amazing to watch, and Eager looks like they're trying to secure that first seed coming into the Masters LAN.
Eager are very, very close right now, but you cannot count out LG. BaRRaCCuDDa has plot armor thicker than Hindu armor.
Ooh, I don't know about that, my friend.
No, I think it is.
See, you're just saying that because you're Hindu and you're trying to be modest, but I've seen it in action, man. I don't know.
You've seen the Hindu armor in action?
Oh, I have. Multiple times.
Well, Divios on zone duty here because Eager went back to base quickly to buy up. They do have that portal available, but LG have ward coverage around it. A little bit risky from LG's point of view, really, to be around that portal, because if Eager just rush through it, even if they win the fight there, LG, they probably lose their base to the fire minions.
But look, it's only the left side that really have those fire minions pushed up very, very far. I like that idea from LG. Maybe someone's, doesn't need to back and they're just doing the blue buff because they're safe in their enemy jungle when they've got 3 Phoenixes down, but you can always attempt to catch someone sleeping. But even more than the play to go and look for those picks, I like the quick call off that, okay, it didn't work, let's go back to base and defend it from these fire minions. Fire Giant, not that relevant at this stage in the game.
I mean, it's relevant, but it's not going to be something that LG can really contest.
No, certainly not. Not with 3 Phoenixes down, and they're much more worried about those Firebirds than they are about the Fire Giant.
Now, the middle and left-hand Phoenix will be up a little bit earlier than the right-hand side one. Obviously, the middle one was the first. No, the left one was the first to drop, correct?
I believe it was the middle one.
They look exactly the same on the map. That's why I'm pretty sure it was one or the other. Obviously, it doesn't really matter because they're both going to come up at the same time, and Eager may look to bring those down first before they go in for the kill.
And they do have 2 frenzies, so they could just try and all in, just like Luminosity did to them in game number 1, but that was with full builds across the board, though. Looking at it, Eager's full build across the board. It's only Best who still has a starter item.
I'm just saying, Tolly was saying 51% to 49%. Well, the kills are 21 to 19, which is very, very similar to the percentages when you look at that. It's crazy.
Pretty close. Maybe Tolly's onto something with this, not really full committing to a team.
Tolly's really analytical, man. I'd be really worried about getting an argument with him about anything math-wise. Jeff, though, awkward position for him to be. He got hit by the tip! And then on top of that, Divios blinked in too. Jeff's already dead. Zap gets credit for the kill. BaRRa's at half health. So is Baskin. The Kraken is actually invested on the backside to DJ, but DJ absorbs the whole thing. The rest of LG, however, different story. They're being run down like dogs on the front lines.
And there's plenty of dogs to run them down with. The Caldier and Bobo, or whatever you call the Erlang Shen dog, pick up Scary D on the backside as well. It's only BaRRa and Baskin, and I'll be honest, Hindu, I don't think they have enough to defend.
I don't think they do right now, not with 4 members barreling down with a Fire Giant and 5 minions to the left, 5 minions to the right, and here you are stuck here against Eager in the final game of the spring split. Eager versus LG goes 1-1 right now.
I just have to call this out. I'm pretty sure DJ just went into the enemy fountain and bought a frenzy and then came out and popped it to make sure that they could secure that victory. Regardless of what happened there at the end, Eager secured the #1 seed moving into the North American land at the Masters, at least on the North American side, I should say.
On the North American side, Europe, a little bit of a different story. What an amazing set, though. Great day overall. Honestly,
it delivered.
Things didn't change up too much in standings.
No.
Overall?
No, not at all. I mean, Soar made a pretty big jump there towards the middle of the standings overall. But again, the memory of Gabe's split alongside with E United there. We had a potential for a tiebreaker, but with Luminosity winning game 1, we never really saw that come to fruition. Flashpoint looks a lot better towards the end of the split. There are a lot of teams that are starting to improve here in North America, and there's going to be a lot of competition in the Gauntlet.
And that's the important thing. Improve now to get yourself to a decent spot in the Gauntlet as well. Really rough situation for them to be in. But anyway, enough from us. It's time to head over to Taco and Tom to break down that exciting 2 games.
2 game what? 2 game
set.
Are you sure?
It was a it was a double une, to say the least. Two games that were important to make up the 1 set. And that's what matters.
Usually it's me saving her when she goes off the deep end, and instead it's you're trying to rope me back in. It's real high-res hours here, folks. 4 matches, 4 conclusions, 4 head. That's Aror, co-commentator here. But what a wonderful time we had. And Tolly was right. 49-51. This really was hyper close. Eager and LG really came very close to each other, but ultimately somebody had to win. And it all came down in game 1 to the solo lane. Scary D looked absolutely like his namesake. Really wrecking it here.
Scary D was an absolute beast throughout this entire monstrosity of a game, burning 51 minutes long, but that did not deter him in the slightest from making sure that his gameplay stayed on point the whole way through.
Amaterasu is such a powerful character when it comes to these team fights. One, he's able to really deal with a lot of this burst damage that we saw coming out of that mid lane Poseidon. Shouts to Baskin, who piloted him relatively well in both games, despite an early loss. And Scary D just really making it happen here.
It just non-stop, every single possible moment that his ultimate was available to him, he was just in there setting up for his team. And not only that, but he picked up quite a few kills by himself as well. And he was just such a disorienting factor throughout the team fights. It became so problematic for Eager to deal with.
I mean, look at that, a 12.0 KDA. That's it's kind of scary. That's kind of nuts. It's just how that one goes. Skadi finishes off the opposition with the mirror. And that allows his team to go ahead and take game number 1. 19-7 was the final kill count right there. You can take a look at the player damage. That's really the metric that I want to celebrate because it's so close together. 122 to 135K. We saw how long this game went, almost an hour in length. And when it comes down to it, I mean, 10,000 damage is 3 spells.
And the funniest part about it, too, is that the player healing was actually dead even between these two teams, despite the 14K player damage difference. So it just really goes to show that Luminosity was impacting the match in that they were picking up the fights that really mattered, and all of those extended engagements that we started seeing after that initial 30-minute mark were what really became the ultimate crutch for Luminosity at the end point.
Game number 2 was also very, very close. This time, however, Eager was able to sneak things out and really make things happen. Zapman was the man with the plan here, really bringing it out. And the Skadi play has been all over the SPL. Not my favorite, but it's certainly the favorite of the pros right now. And going back to when Skadi first came out, there was one guy who said this character was good. It was T-Money. But after that came a couple of the pros, Zapman being one of them.
See, I don't miss that regard. I kind of just preferred it when T-Money was the only person who cared about Skadi, because putting Skadi into the hands of somebody like Zapman, I mean, we saw what happened. Game number 2 was entirely his way, just the entire time. Absolutely no way to stop this man or his dog.
Yeah, it was really rough. Watching this was kind of like John Wick 1, 2, and 3. And really what it comes down to here, there's a really specific interaction with Skadi in the 1v1 that you were talking about. And I want you to highlight it because Skadi isn't just about this ultimate that's really powerful, but the dog is so important.
One of the nice aspects about Skadi, especially against those ability-based hunters like Medusa that we saw BaRRa trying to make it happen, is the dog eats the abilities.
Yeah.
100%. He takes the damage. Well, you have to be careful with the acid spray to ensure that it doesn't, get the splash damage, but it'll eat the auto attacks on the Medusa 1. The Petrify, it's not really an issue because you should be turning away from that either way, but it can also catch the dash, and that's probably one of the most important aspects. As long as you proc Kaldar onto the player using your 2, that's immediately the biggest and probably the best way to take the ultimate and winning end of this.
Yeah, you can just interrupt so many things, like tapping 2 islands, just absolutely just shut down whatever the opposition wants to bring. 20-5 is the total count for game number 2. And again, this time, not tied up at 11K. The healing certainly in Eager's favor, 24K to 4K. So all nice things all across the board. Interesting split coming down as Eager take down LG. That's our final game of the day pretty much. And what was an action-packed day. We started off with Soar and Noble and wound up with Eager and LG. And a big part of what allowed LG to win that first game was the jungle. It's Mask. It's our buddy, Mr. Escazada. How you doing, man? How you doing?
What's cracking?
Not too much, man. How's everything in Mask World, first of all? I ain't spoken to you in a while.
It's great, dude. Our team's doing well. It's going pretty well.
So right now, LG, you guys are looking pretty. And how are your feelings for the LAN stage of the spring split?
Last split, I believe, we had a pretty rough showing at the first 2 LANs we went to, but this time around, me and Scary have LAN practice, and we have Baskin, who's had a bunch of LAN practice, so I'm pretty confident going into this Masters LAN coming up soon.
You're a mind reader, man, because that was going to be my second question. Was you guys struggled at LAN previously in the past, and then we saw Scary D turn it up at Super Regionals and obviously Worlds, and I think you made your boost earlier than that. So the largest difference between past LG and LG now, what should fans be excited for to see you guys do at LAN?
I think fans should be excited to see our team comps and how we play them. Like today against Eager, we knew they were running Guardians, so we ran Nem Sunder, which is a complete tank shredder. I remember once we killed Divios when he jumped in and BaRRa hit him with a 2000 crit or something because I ult sundered him and he just evaporated.
Yeah, it was, we saw a play where players just disappeared like that, and it was a lot of fun to watch. But Mask absolutely has been a lot of fun to watch you guys. And as I said, you improved. Mask, what is the biggest difference for you personally in your gameplay last year versus this year?
For myself, just playing more for the team, I'd say. That's like pretty much all.
And speaking of playing for the team, what's it like trying to keep the team focused in during those 51-minute matches?
That was intense because we had to win that to make sure we're secured.
Right.
And Skadi was a little, he was freaking out in comms. He was making weird calls, and then BaRRa's like, calm down, we got this. BaRRa put us back on track, and thank God we won.
Is it generally always BaRRaCCuDDa that's sort of that voice of reason? Is it BaRRa and Jeff, BaRRa by himself, or is it somebody else that really ties everybody back?
Baskin, BaRRa, and Jeff are always really calm. Skadi can get a little out of hand sometimes, and I can get a little out of hand, but outside of that, it's great.
That's part of the team dynamic. Now, before I ask you for your shoutouts, as we usually ask our players, I have one question for you, Mask. Do you want to rap battle me right now?
No, you're too good, F-Dot.
So a little bit of background. Me and Mask,
No.
Mask challenged me to a rap battle, and he was talking all sorts of smack, and I said, worlds, and then he brought me into the TeamSpeak, and I slaughtered him, just putting that one out there.
Man.
And then when Worlds came, what happened to you, Mask? Where were you at Worlds?
Losing the energy. That's where I was.
Oh, no.
Mask,
Not like this.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. I absolutely love you.
Too.
Do you have any shout-outs to the fans at home or anybody else?
Shout-outs to LG, shout-outs to my teammates, shout-out to Baskin, and shout-outs to Walrus for making sure we made it.
You should give me a shout-out, too.
And shout-out to F-Dot.
Thank you. That, of course, is Mask the Jungler for LG. And I love where this guy has come from and become such a staple of the Smite scene. And honestly, I think, like I said, as early as last year, there were a couple of people saying, I'm not sure if he's going to work on this LG squad, or, maybe he's not, had some questions. But, I mean, after performances like today and the spring split in general, I think you absolutely got to nod your head towards Mask and what he's been able to do for his team. LG wind up taking down Eager, at least in the latter half of their split. They wind up going right down the middle. It's a 2-0 for Soar Gaming versus Noble. Flashpoint split with Allegiance as well. And in memory of Gabe, wind up splitting with E United. So all of these fancy tiebreak scenarios that we laid out in the beginning of the day, not going to happen. Instead, we have a nice, clear-cut way of how these teams are headed. Team Eager and Luminosity going to Masters Land.
And being locked in for the Masters Land is certainly something that I know that both of these teams are looking forward to, because, I mean, that's just a comfortability aspect at this point in time. Once you're locked in, you just have nothing else to worry about. But if I'm in that NA gauntlet, I'm certainly sweating. Like, I mean, that is a spooky-looking gauntlet. E
United, Soar Gaming, in memory of Gabe, are three teams that I could take on that I think could take on virtually anybody. And then even the teams that I didn't go on and mention, Noble is still very scary. And don't forget, these teams do have a little bit of time to scrim and just improve, because I think that's been our theme for the spring split, has just been improvement. I think this is one of the first times, Season 4 has been one of the first times in Smite where you could really say almost all 16 teams across North America and Europe can really take on whoever.
But that's the fun part of it all, really. Yeah. It keeps them on edge, and it keeps us on edge as well, because we never really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of fun. You really got to think one step ahead. That's part of being a caster. And if you think that you can think one step ahead, well, you can do it too. 1-minute videos is what we're asking here, folks. Thecaster.tv is where you can put in your application. This is a reality show brought to you by hi-rez TV. And basically what we're going to do is we're looking for that one piece of talent that we just haven't heard yet. Go ahead. If you think you're the caster, 1-minute video. Put it together. Tell us why you're better than us, why you're better than everybody you know, and why you deserve to be right here on this desk. Not only will you get a trip down to Atlanta, but also $10,000 is the grand prize. So certainly something you want to get involved in.
10,000.
It's a lot of dough. A lot of dough, and it's all about the caster. In addition to that, Smite celebrating its 3rd birthday. It was around a little bit longer than that in beta, but 3rd birthday since we've officially been out. It was the springtime 3 years ago that we went down to Midtown Atlanta, center stage. We celebrated the launch tournament. In celebration, we're going to be giving discounts across the way, 25% off Norse items and gems for your wins across the day. So absolutely stop losing aggro, get yourself some gems, and you can actually buy some stuff. In-game swag and out-game swag. Hit point as well. Also giving out some discounts, 15% across the board at smite.hitpoint.tv. So you can go ahead and wear some nice Smite stuff.
Fix up your wardrobe a little bit. I know I could do the same thing. I mean, I love my Norse beanie.
Taco's wardrobe absolutely needs some help. I will be the first one to say
Come
that.
on. Like,
No.
I'm not used to this whole shebang yet. Okay, it's a work in progress for a reason.
We're getting there. I remember Aggro was talking to her about, like, you know, maybe you need a necklace or two, and then I turn around and she's looking at magnets that look like cat butts.
That was a
So-
legitimate thing, though. Okay, look, I have to explain this now because otherwise people are going to think I'm just weird. I was looking up
weird.
otter coloring books because
That's not weird.
I needed a coloring book because it's very relaxing for starters. I like pens and like gel pens because they are colorful. And I wanted a coloring book of otters because otters are my favorite animal.
We're adults here at the SPL, and we have a lot of fun. We hope you had a lot of fun as well. Masters Land coming up, as well as the Gauntlet for both North America and Europe. So keep an eye on here at hi-rez TV. That is the end of the regular season for the spring split. We still have summer and fall to come, but like I said, your players will be here live in Atlanta at hi-rez Studios, bringing you the business, and that should be very exciting. Keep an eye on here. And of course, charity, Spring Fling, can't forget about that. hi-rez TV, despite the fact that the spring split is over, the fun has just begun. Lands, plans, and everything in between. We'll be bringing them to you in the coming weeks. For myself, Hindu Man, everybody behind the scenes here in production, and everybody else that brings you together, the Smite Pro League, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.